Or something.
Well, they certainly seem to be in some sort of relationship.
Yeah.
But that is something we haven't seen very much of, that wild, erratic
Look
lighting.
at that. Quite very interesting image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again,
my.
things you do hear, descriptions, verbal descriptions, but rarely you get to see them on camera.
Juarez. Okay.
Yeah, that's an unusual one.
That is definitely a first.
Yeah, and it also begins with like a close-up.
Yeah.
So, which is also unusual. Unless we're only seeing a frame already, you know.
Also true.
Which, again, you don't know in many of these videos because that depends how Mike Hesseman got them, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure he always tries to get whatever closer image, but sometimes you get what you get, and that doesn't depend from you.
We've seen these erratic flashes of light coming out of the bottom, and then kind of a momentary distortion at the top. Very active little form, whatever it is.
Yeah, strange one.
Okay, back over the city.
This is near the airport. And there were many cases reported by pilots in Mexico too. I even wrote an article once of a near collision case. And we did have also the testimonies. Well, Maussan had obtained it from the pilots where they were interviewed and they appeared on the record, you know, using their full names and everything.
Very rare as we know.
Pilots don't like to do that because of their jobs, but in this case, these guys did.
No, good for them. That is rare.
Now we're in New Mexico, and Escamilla, as you probably know, is although this is different from a lot of the other videos, it's the guy that was photographing those rods. Videotaping rather,
right.
And he would leave the camera all night, and he kind of pioneered that and claimed that you could see all kinds of things. But this seems more like a standard UFO footage, if there is such a thing.
As we're learning, they do vary as much as automobile models, even more so in ways. Interesting clusters here. We don't know if we're seeing a grouping, or whether or not that is the fully articulated thing that just seems to have those components.
And this also seems to be a lot of disturbance there, where it even says there.
Cameras jumping around. Oh,
now
that's a whole other thing.
Completely different from the other stuff.
Look at that.
Well, this is more traditional, this type of image, but the previous one was certainly strange. England now.
August 94, night shot. And let's see if Mr. Spence takes us closer to that object, if indeed that is what we're looking at there.
Yeah, almost blends with I guess those are houses and
I'm guessing
street lights or whatever. Yeah.
We are seeing a vague horizon line about mid-screen now, about 2/3 up. But was it that light in... There it is.
Now he's completely shifting around. There it is. I think what's happening here is he's trying to, find the image on the viewfinder, right? Now he got it, obviously.
Again, we have this almost strobe-like pulsing
Well, that
phenomenon.
could sometimes airplanes under weather conditions appear like that, but
usually it's a much more regular strobe, but again, we know anything is possible in this area.
But at a great distance, they get distorted sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But that other light, which seems to be in the sky, is fixed, though. It's not doing much, but it's too bright to be a star, or too low.
It's definitely not the moon. It doesn't seem to fit the normal specs here. would like to see it do something, do something.
No.
No, they don't listen. They're like cats.
Now I think he's hunting again for the little, there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the helicopter. You can hear it. That's a smack on course for this object down here. Look at that, that's gone ever so steady, that has.
Now he's back to the same fixed lines. Unless he was a light over a, like an antenna, but then those always do flash, so that
very regularly. They have to.
Yeah, they have to.
As
so
beacons for
planes
anything
crash
flying
and stuff,
low.
Yeah. So
Can discount that.
Yeah. Just get. Let's get it going out. There's one. There's the very far look.
Seems to be all over the place, or we're dealing with several distinct phenomena.
yeah, this is the type of details that we wouldn't know unless we interview the cameraman.
Exactly.
Or someone interviewed him and there was a report or something.
Yeah. And like any field of research, if, even as somebody that's just getting interested in this, cover as many bases as you can. If you are investigating an incident in your own community, it's great to have footage, but it's like provenance in the history of an object to be able to back it up with some kind of substantial testimony, ideally by an eyewitness.
Right.
An important part of any basic investigation technique, as any police officer can tell you, or anybody trained to look into. Mysteries. Back in Germany? Whoa.
Yeah, again,
That's a pretty...
erratic object. I mean...
What the heck?
Almost looks like if it was something natural there, but a
'cause
natural thing wouldn't be floating in the middle of the sky.
Most
so
likely not, unless it's a bird, and I sure hope